we cannot control the fact that we have negative thoughts, okay, but it is in our control whether we want to choose to respond and how we want to act on all these thoughts. So just a fun fact, okay, humans have around 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts on average per day, okay, according to research, and 80% of them are negative thoughts. And a lot of all these thoughts are what we call ANTS, automatic negative thoughts, you know, and they are literally like ants, okay, they just crawl all over our head, and we just have very little control over how much these thoughts appear in our head, okay. It's sometimes due to our past conditioning, it can be due to, you know, our personality, okay. For instance, I'm someone who gets anxious easily, so for someone who is more easily anxious, maybe they are more prone to all these, you know, negative thoughts. So the point is, you know, we have all these negative thoughts, okay, we cannot control them. In a way, you know, if someone tells you not to think about something, the more you probably think about it, right? So that's what I mean by we cannot control certain thoughts from appearing in our head. But what we can control is how we choose to respond to all these thoughts and how we notice these thoughts when it appears in our head. So it's about cultivating that awareness, about recognizing that these negative thoughts or unhelpful thoughts is currently, you know, appearing in our head. And that is the first step as to choosing how we want to respond to these thoughts. So the first step is, once we recognize these thoughts, okay, we can then create a space between us and this thought, meaning to say that if, let's say, I have this thought that I'm a failure or I'm not good enough, right? And most of the time, if we do not have this awareness, we might just believe that we are what we think, and these thoughts just define us, right? But when we cultivate the awareness that we are not our thoughts, you know, we create that space between us and the thought itself, we can then choose, you know, to see if we want to internalize those thoughts. So if we come to see that those are unhelpful thoughts, what we can do is to kind of do a thought substitution, where we can replace negative thoughts with more neutral or positive ones, because our mind is generally not very good at, you know, just not think about it or not think about something. So instead of telling ourselves not to think about a thought, which will reinforce that thought, you know, appearing, we can then, you know, learn to replace our negative thoughts with more positive or neutral ones. And that is how we choose to respond.